Welcome to Holly Scoop. I'm Stephanie Bauer. In weird, bizarre, totally pointless Hollywood news of the day, Rihanna pays a UFO watcher to give her alien updates. Rihanna marches to the beat of her own drum, that's for sure. Apparently, the 25-year-old singer is convinced extraterrestrial beings exist and pays a sky scanner in the Mojave Desert in California to give her information on sightings. Seem too weird to believe? Well, a source tells the Daily Star newspaper, quote, Rihanna has always been convinced that aliens will land on Earth in her lifetime. So she started using the man who calls himself a sky scanner to give her information from Nevada on anything that relates to sightings. The pair keep in touch from the Little Alien Motel in Nevada, which hosts UFO hunters and is famous for its alien burgers. The insider says it's also near one of the world's most secret government bases, Area 51. And this isn't a fad for Rihanna. She's a total believer and doesn't mind spending her money on it to get results. By the way, Rihanna previously said, "My dad used to make me sit outside on the steps all night long looking for UFOs flying by, and I had to do that for years."
I have no idea what the hell that is.
It is not a flying saucer or ET on a bicycle, but no one's quite sure what it is.
We first told you about a strange object we saw from our tower cam last Wednesday. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Jen Shantz takes a deeper look in tonight's follow-up. Jen?
That's right, Rod. We've thrown around a flying lantern, a hot air balloon, Jupiter, or even an aircraft, but so far nothing's added up. Just before 6 a.m. on September 4th, KLKN's HD Tower Cam 8 gave Channel 8's morning meteorologist Sean McMullen a less than normal view.
I've never seen anything like this before. I even say that several times while I'm on air describing the object because I want to let people know that, you know, even I don't know what this is, so I can't exactly tell you what it is.
The triangular-shaped flashing object appears to be floating above the capital city. By the time the sun comes up, we can't see it anymore. McMullen says it was visible for about 45 minutes. A Channel 8 viewer captured similar footage.
It's an unidentified object. We don't know whether it was flying, floating, what it is.
Rich Webb has been investigating UFO sightings for 8 years. Both he and fellow UFO enthusiast Scott Colburn say our tower cam footage is curious. They say another description of a triangular-shaped object was seen that morning, a couple hours earlier, in Lee's Summit, Missouri, just outside Kansas City.
That's very interesting. I'm wondering if we could connect the two lines and maybe find out an approximate location of where this thing was.
According to FAA officials, no suspicious activity was reported on September 4th. But until we learn more, we'll keep digging.
You know, if I'm going to have a UFO experience on air, then yeah, then I'm gonna take you with me.
Now, I just spoke with Professor Timothy Gay from UNL's physics department. He says he can guarantee that extraterrestrials do not exist. Now, I just spoke with Professor Timothy Gay from UNL's physics department. He says he can guarantee that extraterrestrials do not exist and suspects our tower cam footage was a government aircraft of some sort or a reflection of our lens. But if you have any predictions or photos, send them our way. Just click on our Facebook page. Sean has already posted some information.
Yeah, the mystery continues.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Everyone's got an opinion.
Jen, thank you.
Biologists are trying to unravel a mystery in northeastern New Mexico. More than 100 elk found dead on a ranch about 20 miles north of Las Vegas. The news comes as a shock to game and fish investigators and to hunters just days away from hunting season. News 13's Tina Jensen has the story.
Sky News 13 flying over a gruesome discovery on the sprawling 75,000-acre Buena Vista Ranch near Mora. A massive die-off of more than 100 elk within 1 square mile. The elk weren't shot, so Game and Fish is investigating just what caused the deaths, which seemed to happen overnight. Their top suspicion? Something called epizootic hemorrhagic disease, or EHD. Fatal disease is caused by insect bites.
An elk could get a fever. It's usually a pretty fast illness, and up to 8 to 36 hours later, the animals go into shock and then they die.
This is the time of year when it strikes most, when it's hot and elk herds stick together near water.
It is more common when it's been very hot. The gnats live in areas with standing water.
With elk bow hunting season starting on Sunday, some guided expeditions in the area may be called off. Biologists are sending tissue samples from the elk and water samples from the area for testing. If it is EHD, Game and Fish says it's not contagious to humans, and it's not spread from animal to animal. Elk and deer get it from insect bites, which would be good news for bears in the area who are already conducting their own hunt as nature takes its course. Tina Jensen, KRQE News 13.
Game and Fish say no other die-offs of elk have been reported in New Mexico so far this year. They say hunters should avoid harvesting elk that appear sick and to call and report anything unusual.
life exist on Earth? Well, a team of British scientists say they've discovered just that, small bugs which appear to have arrived from space. They found the tiny organisms after sending a specially designed balloon around 20 miles into the stratosphere during a recent meteor shower. Experts say the bugs are too large to have come from Earth. Thomas Moore has more on that. Should we be scared?
I don't think there's anything to be scared of, though if you look at some of the photos, they do look quite daunting. I think this is really interesting, and there has been this long-standing theory that life was seeded on Earth. It hasn't been a theory that's been accepted by all, but these Sheffield scientists say that this is first direct evidence that there are microbes high up in the stratosphere. Now, they can think of no possible explanation of how those got up there other than they were brought down during a meteor shower. You remember the Perseid meteor shower very recently. That's when they sent up the balloon, and they only exposed the collecting plates once the balloon reached that high altitude. They took strict precautions that it wasn't contaminated with life down here on Earth, and it does raise all sorts of questions.
It really does, doesn't it? It's quite, but we shouldn't be alarmed.
No, I don't think so. If you look at, there's one, I hope we can get one of the photographs up. It does look a bit like an elephant's head. Now, bear in mind that this is just 2 or 3 times the width of a human hair, so it really is tiny. That's not the one, if we can find the one with the elephant's head. But you will see that it has almost like a long trunk. That's not the one. That's the one, right?
There we go.
The elephant's trunk. That could well be a tail. At the other end, they see evidence of a mouth-like orifice, which might be something to do with feeding. And on the side there, looks like an ear. They think that may well be a flipper that it would use to get around in water somewhere else in space.